You might want to put this on 1.25 or higher because there'll be some pauses as I try and recollect. Several years back, I was in Doha, Qatar. I'd just arrived. My flight was on time, but I'd forgotten my PIN number for my credit card. So I had to go to this little bank place inside the airport, and they gave me a card, and I used that to, I'm not sure, we had to pay for something, but I can't remember now. Maybe it was for the visa or something like that, for the tourist visa, probably. I had to pay for something, so I had to get this card. Long story short, I got out a little bit later than planned. I knew that a security guy was going to pick me up, like a driver, security. Sorry for all the background noise, the planes are going for it this morning. I knew that someone was picking me up, and I had a name for him. Let's call him Habibi. Habibi means friend in Arabic. Let's call him Habibi. I knew that Habibi was going to be picking me up, but I didn't know who he was. I had no idea. I was expecting some seasoned chauffeur security guy. So I walk out of the... I actually wrote a script for this story, by the way. You know that I love writing, and I started writing around that time because I just love it so much. But I wrote this story as a POV film style script, just from my own memory, and sometimes I get inspired and I just write. It ended up being 14 pages, and I found it this morning and I couldn't believe I'd actually written this whole thing out. And it's incredible how your memory can be so hazy, because I didn't remember all these little details that I'd written about. So I might refer to this as we go along. So I'm expecting an older seasoned gentleman, and as I walk out, I start typing into my phone and I write, "Hi Habibi. Hi Habibi, I'm here." And I swiftly look up from my phone to see who's typing on their phone or who's replying, because I can see someone's replying to me. And I see this young guy wearing, I think he was wearing this purple shirt, purple long sleeved shirt, skinny jeans, baseball cap, tall Arabic guy, attractive. I'm looking at him and I see that he's not only typing on his phone, but he's got a sign with my name on it. And I'm thinking, why is a trap artist? Why is this guy who looks like he's just walked out of a trap artist video picking me up? So for a brief moment I'm confused, and then we lock eyes and we smile. And I walk towards him. And okay, I'm going to read some of this out for you because it's kind of cool. She looks around and types something on her phone. "Hi Habibi, I'm here." She looks up to see who's typing on their phone. She sees a young, tall, slim, attractive Arabic man holding a piece of paper half-heartedly looking down at his phone, and she spots her name. She smiles and walks over to him. He doesn't seem to believe she's the person he's supposed to be meeting. Her smile widens and she starts to speak. "Sorry, I'm late. I forgot my PIN. My flight was on time, but I lost time trying to get to the bank." I asked him if he was waiting long, and he said a couple of hours, and I apologized. But he didn't seem, apart from that initial half-hearted holding up the sign thing, he didn't seem too bothered once we started speaking. So we leave, and the heat hits me, and we arrive at this car. We arrive in the parking lot, and there's a Nissan, I think. And we get in, and it's not really clean. And I'm thinking, I'm expecting an older gentleman, expecting like a proper serviced car type thing. At no point did I think, is this guy about to kidnap me? I liked him immediately. He was just very easygoing, very chill, and of course he's attractive, right? He puts on the radio. I'm going to stop looking at this because it's going to spoil my storytelling. He puts on the radio and it's just pop music, and it's really not great music. But because we've just met, I don't say anything to him. And we just start talking, and he asks me where I'm from. He knows obviously I've come in from the UK, but ethnically he wonders where I'm from. And I asked him to guess, and he said, "You're Lebanese?" I said, "No." So I told him I'm Persian, and then I asked him if he was Qatari, and he said no, he was from Saudi originally, but he was working in Qatar, in Doha. So we just have a really nice conversation in the car, and he drops me at this secure place. I'm not a spy, guys. I'm not a spy. I'm not. Some of my stories, my life used to be interesting, not so much now, not at all now. But some of my stories are so outlandish that I hesitate to tell them because, well, firstly, it would be just getting too close to who I am. But secondly, they're outlandish, and I just think no one's going to believe these stories. This is one of the believable ones, so that's why I'm telling you this. And actually, I don't think Habibi would mind my telling you this story. I think he'd be flattered, in fact. So he takes me up to this place, and as soon as we enter, I turn around to say thank you, but because it's got so busy, he's already disappeared. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll see him again. I do see him again the next morning, and he's wearing a taupe. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's the Arabic, you know, the head thing that they wear, and the beautiful white dress. And he looks just so elegant and attractive and super masculine. There's something about that taupe. I think Arabic men, like Persian men, are masculine anyway, but this taupe that Arabic men wear just enhances that. If you didn't know, Persian culture and Arabic culture are completely different. It's like two completely different cultures, different languages. A lot of people think that Persians are Arabs. We're not. And don't ever say that to a Persian, because they're very proud, staunchly proud of being Persian. It's like comparing Germans and Italians. It makes absolutely no sense to Persians or Arabs. Yes, they're in the same region, but it's a totally different culture, totally different language. That's the best way I can describe it to you. And we look totally different as well. So this is a completely new, even though I'd been to Dubai, this was my first time in a more traditional Arabic country. And I've seen the taupe before, obviously, but yeah, it was very attractive. So we get into a car. Now, I'm not a car girl, as in, if it's a regular car, they're all the same to me. Having said that, when it's a really nice car, of course I notice. Who doesn't? It's like a work of art. This car today is a very different type of car. Immediately I can see it's a beautiful car, and we get into the car, and I say to him, it's a really nice car. What car is this? He tells me it's a Cadillac, and all I know about Cadillacs is that they're American cars. And I say, how much is it worth? I don't even know why I asked that question, because it's not even important to me. But for some reason, I felt like I needed to know. He said $150,000. And I don't know why a Cadillac is $150,000. I thought they were, when I researched this afterwards, I thought they were in the range of 50K, something like that. It's not important. I just wanted to, it must have been kitted out in a certain way, or maybe it was made to order. I'm not sure. but it was a beautiful piece of machinery, and every time we rode in this car, I was very, very happy. So I asked him, is this the nicest car you've ever driven? And he said, one of them, very, very casually. And he starts to tell me about all the really lovely cars he's driven. So Habibi and I, let me tell you this part. He's got this natural Middle Eastern masculinity. He doesn't overspeak. I love it when men don't overspeak. He's calm and he's very, very confident in his own skin. And you notice that a lot with Arabs and Persians. They've just got this real masculine confidence. It's very, very attractive. So day four hits, and I've not seen him. But I'm now bored because my days are pretty much the same. So day 4 hits, and I message him and I say, Habibi, if you're free, can we go somewhere? Maybe not sure. Just let me know when you're free. And he replies immediately. He's like, sure, 3:30 okay with you? I'm like, okay, 4 p.m. And that's that. So I get to the car and we just look at each other and we start to smile. And he's playing this hip-hop track, and I look at him, and I love this song. And I look at him and I say, Habibi, why have you been hiding these tracks from me? Because it didn't make any sense to me that he looked the way he did, but he's playing random pop music. So he says, well, I don't know if people are into my kind of music, that's why. So from then on, our friendship has solidified because he has really good taste in music. So I'm going to there's so much to this story. I could tell you everything, but I'll tell you 2 of the things that happened whilst we pretty much hung out every night of this 2-week trip, which is really funny to me because every time we were around other people, he would act really composed, like he didn't even know me, like I was a stranger. And honestly speaking, quite liked it. I quite liked how he would just be so cool and cold towards me when we were around people. And then he'd just switch into his normal mode when we'd hang out in the evenings. And I always thought, well, this place that I'm staying, it's got cameras everywhere, I'm guessing. Although I don't really know if I spotted them or I looked out for them. But there were cameras, I'm sure. So I'm thinking, I'm leaving every night to hang out with this guy. Isn't he worried about the fact that there are cameras? I don't know what the scenario was, but I can tell you that every time people were around, it was just like, she's just no one. I don't even know this girl. So we get into this car. He doesn't take me to the beach because we don't have that much time. It's about 4 p.m. when we meet up. There's not much time, but he takes me cruising. And guys, I'm a tiny little girl, or at least I used to be. When I was in Doha, I was really skinny. I was close to my Japan weight. I'm not a big eater, and I don't know if you know this, but I'm very, very careful about how I eat, as in everything's really clean, really healthy. So I don't eat at random places outside. But he takes me to this place and he says, okay, I'm going to get you this bread thing with something inside. I don't know what this is. I don't eat bread very rarely. So I say I'm not hungry and I don't want anything. He says, I'm going to get you something, and I'm going to get you some karak. It's like a drink, special drink from either the Middle East or Doha. And I say, I'm not thirsty because I'm a water drinker and I don't drink a lot of coffee or tea when I'm outside. And he insists. So the thing with Middle Eastern guys is that they just don't listen to you. find that so frustrating. But at the same time, I can adjust because I like how controlled they are. I was about to say controlling, but I don't like to be controlled. But there's something really masculine about the way that they just deal with stuff. And I like that. I like not having to be the one who deals with stuff when I'm with a guy. So in that sense, it's really attractive. But at the same time, if I don't want something, I don't want it. I don't like being pushed into things. But he doesn't listen to me. So he says, I'm going to get you this carrot. And I said, well, can you ask for no sugar? So he says, fine. And he shouts over to this guy from the car window. He's like, Hamid. And I look at him and I say, do you know him? Because it's so random. We've just turned up to this random spot and he's shouting Hamid to this guy. And he looks at me like it's such a strange question. He's like, no, I call everyone Hamid. But it was such a specific name. Like, why not Ali, or why not, I don't know, why not Ibrahim? Why Hamid? But then I thought, it's like me calling every job's worth in Japan Mr. Suzuki. Anyone who's a job's worth and takes the job way too seriously, I call Mr. Suzuki. So I kind of get it. It's just a name that you give. But I don't say Mr. Suzuki to their name. He's calling these guys Hamid. Any time we go anywhere, he's just calling everyone Hamid. So bizarre. But it just made me giggle. So he calls this guy over, he orders this carrot, and he orders these two. Pastry type things I don't even want. I think he's ordering one. The guy comes back with the carrot and these pastry things, and there's two of them. So I'm thinking, okay, he's got one for me, one for this guy. He's like, okay, here, they're both for you. I'm like, Habibi, I'm not hungry. You have to have at least one of these. He's like, but I don't want to eat. So I'm like, why did you order two then? I don't like to get into it with guys. Like, I like to let guys do whatever they want to do. But this situation is so bizarre. It doesn't even make any sense. I'm like, so why did you order two? I'm pretty sure he said you're too skinny. You know what Arab men are like? They like their women a bit chunky. And my friends, I am not a chunky monkey, okay? So I'm like, I can't eat this much. I'm a tiny person. So out of politeness, I take a bite of this pastry thing and then I just leave it. I've done my job. I've done my polite job. And then I leave it. And then I take a sip of this carrot and I say, Habibi, it's got sugar in it. And now he starts speaking in Arabic and he's just like cussing out this Hamid guy because he's put sugar when he specifically asked for no sugar. So I don't drink the carrot. So this was how his and our friendship was throughout this whole 2 weeks. He doesn't listen to me, and at some point I'm so mellow, except when my periods are coming. I'm so mellow, and he felt the wrath of my periods at one point. I'm going to tell you that story. I'm so mellow, I just let it go. And she looks at him. I can't eat all this, Habibi. Please help me. And he says, save it for later. And she looks at him resigned, and in quiet horror, I was horrified. This is not the kind of thing I eat. But says nothing back. She does not want to be rude. She looks at the food and gingerly opens up the first pastry and starts munching. She really is not hungry. This is how our conversation went. Habibi, it's got sugar. I can't have this. There's no sugar. I asked for no sugar. It has sugar. It's too sweet for me. I don't like it on my teeth. I'm sorry. And then he needs to smoke. And I don't like people smoking around me. If you want to smoke, it's on you, but I don't want it around me. I can be specific about certain things. I'm super mellow about other things, But the smoking thing, I just don't want that around me or in my lungs. So yeah, he's constantly smoking. I'm just trying to build up 20 minutes. Jeez. I'm going to upload this and then I'm going to tell you the second part and the third part of this story. It's quite long. I had to build his character for you to understand the rest of this. I'm going to go. I'll be back.